Guys, it's been a while. I just wanted to hop on tonight and share with you a lesson that my 4-year-old granddaughter taught me this week about regression. Our area was recently impacted by Hurricane Florence, and we had a lot of devastation from that natural disaster in the area, with lots of folks losing their homes and all of their life possessions and having to relocate and start new jobs and just, regather themselves and figure out how they were going to pick up the pieces and move on. And I, unfortunately, was one of those persons who was impacted by the storm. Um, I lost my home. I was blessed enough to be able to quickly find a corporate apartment. And within the first 2 months, I was able to move into an apartment, get my charter school back up and running, and then begin the process of finding aid to help some of the families that's enrolled at our school that were impacted by the storm as well. But as you know, following a natural disaster, the important goals to getting yourself back to a healthy state of mind within the first 2 months is to restore that stability and to return to your previous functions. So I thought I did all the right things. I thought by getting my life together quickly as possible and getting my 4-year-old granddaughter back into her business as usual lifestyle, that hey, I was doing what the textbook or research tells you to do. There are ranges in the emotional responses that happen or occur after trauma. In that first stage, that usually occur immediately after the traumatic event, you often deal with fear or confusion or denial. And then weeks later, stage two kick in, and in children, you begin to see signs of regression. You see emotional stress such as anguish, depression, hostility and aggression, withdrawal, and just that inability to sleep. So, like I said, I thought I had took all the necessary steps to get our house back into a healthy state by getting us set up and moving on business as usual. And then month two kicks in, and Gabby, my 4-year-old granddaughter, out of nowhere just starts showing signs of regression by wetting herself. And I mean, I'm not talking about the normal bed wetting. I'm talking we're riding in the car and she don't even bother to tell you she has to use the bathroom. She just let go and pee in the car. Or she's sitting down watching TV and just pee on the couch. And I'm like, whoa, you wasn't doing this before the storm. What is going on? And so my daughter and I started asking her, why are you peeing on yourself? Why are you doing this? And, her first response was, I just don't feel like going to the bathroom. And I thought, wow, the nerve. And then, that just didn't make sense to us. And so we kept asking, and she made a very profound statement one day. And she said, I don't know, I feel like if I dirty up the hotel, then I get to go back to my dirty house. Now, let me explain to you. Um, you know, I never thought about how this traumatic event or this national disaster would impact a 4-year-old. Like, I had no clue. And that statement just led me into a thought in her mind, because for her, one day we wake up and we go to DC to evacuate from the storm, and she leaves a home that she's been living in for 4 years. And the next day she come back, or the next few days, she come back, and this house is full of debris, full of rainwater, full of mold, full of dirt. And so now she coins it as the dirty house. And then a couple of days after that, we move into this nice corporate apartment that's fully furnished, because like I said, I lost everything. And in her mind, we moved into a hotel. And no matter how much I tried to explain to her that this was an apartment and not a hotel, in her mind, we moved into a hotel until the dirty house could be fixed. So when she made that statement that she felt like if she dirtied the hotel, we could get back to the dirty house, I thought, wow, this is how she's really emotionally disturbed by the fact that her room is gone and her toys are gone and everything is gone. And here I am thinking everything is okay, and in her world is not. So I began to ask God to give me some guidance on how to deal with Gabby. What I needed to do, I didn't need to um, help Gabby to understand what had happened to the house. I didn't have to help her to understand what trauma was. All I needed to do was to encourage her to go back to the basics, go back to what she already knew. And so to do that, for her, it was simple. I created a chart, a dry chart, and for every day that she did not wet herself, she earned a sticker. And she wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese, so I told her if you earn 10 stickers, um, then you get to cash them in to go to Chuck E. Cheese. And this brought a great deal of excitement to her, and she started going back to those developmentally appropriate behaviors of using and following the potty rules. But that lesson made me think even more about the adults in this area who are also dealing with picking their pieces of life back up and dealing with, that high level of stress and trauma of being a participant of a natural disaster. And I started thinking, how does regression look in adults? And so, when your stress levels are high, do you regress and go back to smoking, which was once a thing that you was able to overcome? Do you regress and go back to excessive eating? Do you regress and go back to having adult temper tantrums? Do you go back to being promiscuous? Or do you just assume that fetal position and try to rock your stresses away? And so we know that when regression kick in, you are attempting to go back to a time in your life prior to the stress inducing factors and just feel better. Just find that comfort. And so I thought, wow, Lord, how do you fix that? Or what do you say to an adult that may be regressing because of trauma or because of stress or because of just everyday life occurrences, just life happening? And he put it in my spirit to share with you Hebrews 6 and 12. Do not become sluggish, but imitate those who through faith and patience inherit the promises. It's so much easier to go downhill than it is to go uphill. It's so much easier to fall in a ditch than it is to climb out of that ditch. So when you feel like you are being negatively impacted by stress, trauma, or life in general, just learn to imitate those who have achieved through faithfulness and patience. Imitate their constant study and hard work. Duplicate their enthusiasm and commitment, and observe and copy their manner in life. And just know that with God in control, everything is going to be all right. That's all I have for you tonight. I hope that helps. I hope that, word of encouragement resonate on someone. I hope that my example of dealing with trauma and stress can be a beacon of light to someone who's also going through the same things, because I could sit around and wallow in the fact that um, my house is gone, or I can stay committed to the promises of God and know that in the end, it's all going to work out for my good. So don't become sluggish. Stay faithful. Be blessed, and we'll see you again soon.